Hello, everybody. It's capcorgi. I wanted to give some pretty sudden news. I love to cover the gaming news, and sometimes I like to cover when game companies do something that kind of makes no sense. I want to give my little take on it, my little input. And I know I'm not covering this live on Twitch. I'm actually just covering this on YouTube because it's a pretty sudden news and it's pretty surprising news. So earlier today, we saw that Electronic Arts, EA, has proven yet again that they hate money because they took what should be a fantastic idea for a game based around an iconic character played by one of the most amazing actors of his generation, Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther. And they decided to take that game with a really good idea and completely cut it. So the game is canceled, and the entire studio developer based around it, Cliffhanger Studios, is shut down. Which is very rough. Let me just check. What else did Cliffhanger Studios do? I just wanted to see exactly what they did. See if they were doing anything else. Cliffhanger Studios, is there like an official... This is the EA homepage, so let's see what else they did, at least on here. About Us, yes. Okay, yeah, okay, so they're... God, their entire webpage is just dead now. Oh, that's brutal, bro. That is absolutely brutal. Oh my God. Yeah, that's really sad. But you know, the Black Panther game was supposed to be like, you know, this really cool, interesting action game. Similar in feel and style to people were thinking Spider-Man, somewhere in between Spider-Man and the Wolverine game, and in addition to the desperately needed roster of single-player games for a place like EA, because they specialize in a lot of live service games. But, yet again, another interesting idea for a single-player game is now dead. EA has been hitting the books with their firings and their layoffs over the past couple of years. And, you know, just last month, we had 300 roles cut from Respawn and EA's fan care teams, which is basically the QA staff. And which was, you know, great because, you know, EA has such a great job doing anything related to freaking QA. They're one of the worst. And this has just exacerbated the issue. These decisions are hard. Miel, which is the EA president, EA Entertainment president, these decisions are hard. They affect people we've worked with, learned from, and shared real moments with. We're doing our best that we can to support them, as per IGN, is what I'm reading right now. Yeah, this is complete fucking hogwash and dog shit. Now, the question is, we don't have really a lot of details about this. The questions that we should all ask are, how far in development was this Black Panther game? Now, we don't know. We've heard about this Black Panther game being developed by Cliffhanger for, I would say, I think I've heard about it for the past year and a half. It was around, it was definitely later than the there's a separate game, by the way, Black Panther and Captain America versus Hydra in 1943. Super cool looking game. That's in Unreal 5. That's the game that we actually have footage of. That is a separate game that is still in development. So I just want to make it clear what is being removed and, you know, basically exited from by EA and what is not. So that game is being made. This particular Black Panther one is a single, you know, it's just Black Panther. We didn't really have that many details about it, but, you know, pre-production had been well underway for well over a year plus. Yeah, I don't know how much money they've used on this game. I don't know how much development costs. We don't know really how far in development. I think over the next few days, hopefully some details will start to come out, especially probably by the devs that were fired and laid off by EA here. From Cliffhanger Games, because they just shut down the entire studio. Like, it's gone. That means that either EA was such not a fan of the early development of the game that they were just like, all right, this is just going to be a failure, or, and this is why I wanted to cover this, I think it's super likely that it is much more the price of the game and how hard it is to make a game that is, using a Marvel property, using a Disney property, how hard it is to make that succeed. licensing costs is what I'm talking about. So we're talking about, like, Marvel's Avengers, Spider-Man 1 and 2, Miles Morales, all of those games. They actually costed a lot of these a lot of these companies a lot of money, because the licensing fee to get the game, and to get the licensing, to be able to use these characters in a video game, costs these companies a lot of money. Basically, I think it's estimated to be, we don't really have hard numbers. They don't really like to give out hard numbers, but it's estimated to be around one third of whatever you sell the game for is just directly going to Marvel. Which is pretty crazy. And I think it's like Marvel plus Sony for the Spider-Man game, for example, because Sony has, like, the mixed rights for it. It's this weird thing. Yeah, that is a crazy number. And in fact, I think that's probably why, the Wolverine game is not canceled yet. Thank God. It looks cool. I don't want any of these games to be canceled, really. So I'm really sad to hear this. And Spider-Man, we have 3 Spider-Man games on the PlayStation, because I think there's some deal with Sony, and Sony makes a PlayStation. These are PlayStation exclusives, at least for a significant amount of time. So I think there's like some special deal that they have for subsidiary costs, for like a company to make a game for them. So that's why those 2 particular Marvel properties, for sure, are allowed to be made in general. And it's a lot easier to make those games. But Black Panther is just straight up Marvel. It is not owned by Sony. There's no, co-rights. There's nothing like that. So I think that probably, in my opinion, is the most likely reason of why this Marvel game starring Black Panther and Black Panther alone was shut down. Yeah. And I think one reason that the Black Panther Captain America game, I think it's called The Rise of Hydra. Let me just check the name. Black Panther and Captain America game. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's 1943 Rise of Hydra. This one is still being developed. So this is not the one that's canceled. This one is, thank God, still being developed. This is the one we actually have footage for, which is really, really good. And one of the reasons why this game is able to be made, I think, is because they have a big deal with Epic Games. They've been using this game as a showcase for Unreal Engine 5 in official Unreal Engine videos and stuff. So I think that has actually helped subsidize the cost a little bit. And these are like tricks that large companies do in order to get their movies made, in order to get their shows made, and in this case, in order to get their video games made. Product placement, these types of things. These are how you're able to offset the very, very high costs of certain, AAA style games with huge Marvel properties and so on and so forth. So this is just like the reality of the gaming situation, unfortunately. So, yet again, because of corpo bullshit, we have lost out on what could have been a very, very, very cool game. So yeah, I just wanted to give some information about it. There's a lot more information to talk about, and I'll probably make another video. If you guys want to hear another video, a follow-up, do let me know that in the comments below. What do you guys think of this news? Were you interested in a Black Panther game? Were you interested in seeing what EA could pull off? Because, when they do rarely make their single-player games like, Jedi, Survivor, and so on and so forth, they actually do a pretty decent job sometimes, when they don't fill it up with microtransactions or rush the game release or whatever, which, granted, is not all the time. They often screw over a game's development with 2 or even more of those things. But when they're able to, get their heads out of their ass, EA can actually produce some decent single-player games. So, really wanted to see what they were going to produce here, because Black Panther is such a cool character, You could do all kinds of different abilities. There were some developer interviews. They were talking about how they were going to use the Black Panther suit, and have that be a mechanic where you kind of want to take damage because of, the vibranium, how it absorbs kinetic energy, and you can create explosions with it and stuff. It had some cool ideas. You can actually look those developer interviews up on YouTube still, I'm pretty sure. And if you guys are interested, I will watch those with you guys if you want. I can actually look those up and kind of give you a taste of what was missing, or what we're going to be missing now, because there were some decent ideas that they had. So, anyways, that's my entire information. I hope you guys enjoyed it, even though it's not so great news, but I'll always tell it how it is. The good news, the bad news, the ugly news, no matter what, the authentic take. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and can't wait to catch you guys in the next video.